Everyone, Brenda, you got Brenda? Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am going to call this meeting to order. It is Tuesday, January 21st, 7:04 p.m. This is the regular meeting of the full City Council, and we are being live streamed, recorded on Zoom. This meeting is being translated in Spanish. Thank you to our friends at Holyoke Media. And with that, the clerk will call the roll. Madam Clerk, you are on mute, just in case you were wondering. I mean, I guess I could call the roll.
I see her.
All right, I mean,
The late file.
just make sure
She's muted.
clerk's ready to go.
Okay, okay. I'll second it, yeah. Yeah, because you got people up there too.
Who got called first tonight? Councilor McGrath-Smith is voting first tonight. Cross that off your bucket list.
Okay, she can hear you now.
Oh, okay. We had some technical difficulties, but the clerk can hear us now, and the clerk will call the roll.
Anderson Burgos,
Here.
Bartley,
He's
Divine?
on Zoom. Here.
Givner,
Here.
Graney,
Here.
Jordan,
Here.
McGrath Smith,
Here.
Murphy Rumboletti,
Here.
Ocasio,
Here.
Israel Rivera,
Here.
Jenny Rivera,
Here.
Sullivan,
Here.
Bacon.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
And the city of Hoyoke.
And the city council. No, it's people.
Thank you. Before we get started on everything, we do have a counselor on Zoom, so I would entertain a motion to take a roll call vote that for the purposes of this meeting would be applicable to all motions to receive, to refer items to committee, remove items from the table, place items on the table, package items together, comply with items, or suspend the rules unless there is an objection.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, so no public hearings tonight. We do have public comment. I am going to pull the timer up. So for those who are in attendance to speak this evening, welcome. The way this works, you will state your name and your address for the public record, and you will have 2 minutes to say whatever you'd like, and we will go from there. I will give you a heads up when you have about 30 seconds left. It's always a little awkward. I got to interrupt you, but that's why I'm doing it. And then when you're at time, I will let you know. So I'm going to take the list that's here in person first. First up, I have Joanne Grisanti from 205 Bemis Road. And you just want to make sure that the microphone is on. Councilor Anderson Burgos will assist. Thank you, sir. There we go. All right.
Good evening, councilors, Mr. Mayor. My name is Joanne Grisanti, and I've lived at 205 Bemis Road for 17 years. I saw the video of the Ordinance Committee meeting on January 8th, and I'm concerned about the behavior of Ward 3 Councilor David Bartley. During the meeting, he had a temper tantrum and seemed to angrily be reacting to something that was not obvious to me as a viewer, even though I watched the video several times. Out of nowhere, the councilor shot up out of his chair, cursed the chairperson, and while storming out of the chamber, seemed to be arguing with some imaginary foe. His behavior was unprofessional, disrespectful, disruptive, and, dare I say, unhinged. This is not the first time this has happened, and I don't believe he is fit to hold office in this fine city. I urge the council to censure this councilor or put him on leave until he can get some treatment for his problem. Holyoke deserves better. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, I have Ann Thalheimer, 97 Brown Ave.
Yes. So, Anne, you know me. I've been here before, but that's part of the problem. Like the speaker before me, I also watched this ordinance meeting and was really distressed and dismayed, and I am a constituent. That man represents me in this council, and over and over again, he has shown himself really to have a temperament unfit for public office. He's referred to me as a reoccurring nightmare and spoken about me disrespectfully. I've watched him speak disrespectfully to the law department. The way he treats women is unbelievably reprehensible, and Holyoke does deserve better. And that's the other part that I wanted to mention, because I come in here and I talk all the time about this particular counselor doing terrible things that are not supposed to happen in this chamber. You are supposed to be held to a higher standard. That's why we voted for you. And I want to see some action on this. But I also, while you censure him, I want to see praise for the chair of that committee. Israel Rivera held his cool, stayed professional throughout, and asked after the well-being of this person who was clearly having an unprofessional meltdown. Whether somebody has a bad day or has other stuff going on in their life, there's no excuse for that kind of behavior. And as city councilors, you have the right to demand better. This is creating a toxic environment for you. People talk about why folks don't
30
want to come to
seconds.
chambers and come to meetings and participate. It's because stuff like that happens. Instead, we should be looking to people like Izzy, who are holding it down, representing this council, getting the job done with a human face on the work. Please take some action to address this. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, I have Elizabeth Grisanti from 205 Bemis Road.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Creddy Grisanti, 205 Bemis Road. I'm speaking about the same ordinance meeting, but I wanted to focus on Councilor Israel Rivera because I've really loved the work you've done on this council, and I don't think you got the respect that you deserved at that meeting, and you were a champ. I can't believe it. So I just wanted to say I hope that you keep doing this job and don't get beaten down by the amount of disrespect that I'm assuming you get at other times, but I saw it at that meeting and I was horrified. So thank you so much, Councilor Rivera, for keeping the bar high and acting with class and professionalism in the face of a terrible insult and a meltdown.
Thank you. Up next, I have Jeff Trask, 28 Central Park Drive.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to
Just your name and address.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Jeff Trask, 28 Central Park Drive. Here in my capacity as Emergency Management Director for the City of Holyoke. Here to address the council and just let everybody know that the pop-up warming shelters have been operating since Sunday over at Providence Ministries. We have a great partnership between the city and Providence Ministries to operate warming shelters. We have and we usually do it when there's a certain criteria met, whether it be below zero, wind chills, really when it's really unsafe to be outside because the risk of death by freezing could occur. So we partner with them and they do a great job. We can house about 30 individuals, And just happy to say that that we are offering this service. It's going to continue at least until Thursday. We should be out of the woods a little bit with the temperatures, but should the need arise again next week, we're prepared to operate those shelters again. So just wanted to let everybody know that that's happening, let the viewing public know as well. So if you know of anybody in need, let them know that resource exists. So thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all that you do. You kind of stole my thunder for my president's report, but it's all right. I'll still give you guys a shout out. I know. I am not seeing anyone online who is here for public comment. Jeffrey, you confirm? I'm not missing anyone? Okay. All right. Before we get started this evening, I got to address the elephant in the room and just really kind of say this before we start having another meeting. I've been contacted by the public, I've been contacted by the media, I've been contacted by counselors. What happened at our ordinance committee meeting was just not acceptable. I have to address it publicly. And I encourage everyone, I mean, I hate to have to do this. I feel like I literally do this more than all of the last 3 presidents combined, but I'm just going to remind everyone again what Section 6 of our city council rules are about decorum and about speaking and how we speak to each other and how we speak in front of the public. Others, you know, you can say a lot about me as the president, but I believe I treat everyone the same. And if I see someone who's talking, I'm going to address it. If I don't call on you, you don't have the floor. It's really exhausting to have to spend time focusing on this. But as president, my job is to make sure there is decorum. So we don't swear. We just don't. That's not how I'm not allowed to do that at work. We don't do that. We don't talk to each other the way that we talk to each other if you're out at the bar. Like, we just don't do that. We are elected officials, and I really, I don't know what else I can say. I hope that everyone just going forward remembers these rules of decorum, particularly Rule 6E. No member in debate shall make any references to another member, city employee, or member of the general public in respectful terms. I'm not asking for much. I really don't think I'm going too far here. The public is watching. The public is expecting more of us. We all took an oath to uphold these rules. So do better. Thank you. And I'm going to dive into this meeting and hope it's a good one. Just thank you all for your anticipated respect of one another.
Move to item 2.
Okay. So item 2, all those in favor?
Aye.
Item 2 is actually a list of council appointments, and it's 4 different appointments. We typically do this annually. I'll read them into the record so that folks know. But these are reappointments. So for the assessor's office, Anthony DeLude of 139 Westfield Road. It's a 3-year term expiring January 31st, 2028. Water Commissioner, Henry Butch Seidel from 999 Homestead Avenue is up for reappointment. It's a 3-year term expiring the same January 31st, 2028. These are actually all expiring January 31st. And they're all 3-year terms. Whiting Street Fund, Maria Burke, 290 Cabot Street, and Community Preservation Committee, Jason Ferreira, 6 Taylor Street. Is there any, thank you. I'd entertain a motion if there is one.
Motion to go to the first ballot for assessor.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to go to the first ballot for the assessor. The clerk will call the roll, and I believe we do a roll call vote here. So
No, state your name of your candidate.
Oh, that's what I meant. State your name. I knew there was something else I was forgetting. State the name of your candidate into the record. And whoever receives the majority on the first ballot will be reappointed. So, Madam Clerk.
McGrath Smith,
Delude?
Murphy Ramboletti,
Anthony Delude,
Ocasio,
Anthony Delude?
Israel Rivera,
Delude.
Jenny Rivera,
Anthony Delude?
Sullivan,
Tony Delude.
Bacon,
Anthony Delude?
Anderson Burgos,
Anthony Delude?
Bartley, Devine,
Anthony Delude?
Givner,
Delude.
Graney,
Mr. Anthony Delude.
Jordan.
Anthony Delude.
Anthony Delude appointed with 12 votes, unanimous vote on the first ballot.
Thank you, everyone. Is there another motion?
Motion to go to the first ballot on Water Commissioner.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to go to the first ballot on Water Commissioner. The clerk will call the roll. State the name of your candidate into the record, please.
McGrath Smith,
Seidel?
Murphy Ramboletti,
Henry Seidel.
Ocasio,
Henry Seidel?
Israel Rivera,
Seidel.
Jenny Rivera,
Henry?
Sullivan,
Seidel.
Bacon,
Butch Seidel?
Anderson Burgos,
Henry Seidel?
Bartley, Devine,
Butch Seidel?
Givner,
Seidel.
Graney,
Mr. Henry Seidel?
Jordan.
Butch Seidel.
Henry Seidel appointed to Water Commissioner on the first ballot, 12 votes.
Thank you.
Motion to go to the first ballot on Whiting Street Fund.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to go to the first ballot for the Whiting Street Fund. The clerk will call the roll. Please state your desired candidate's name into the record.
McGrath Smith,
Burke?
Murphy Ramboletti,
Maria Burke,
Ocasio,
Maria Burke?
Israel Rivera,
Burke.
Jenny Rivera,
Maria Burke?
Sullivan,
Marie Burke.
Bacon,
Maria Burke?
Anderson Burgos,
Maria Burke?
Bartley, Devine,
Maria Burke?
Givner,
Burke.
Graney,
Miss Maria Burke?
Jordan.
Maria Burke.
Maria Burke appointed to Whiting Street Fund on the first ballot, 12 votes.
thank you.
Motion to go to the first ballot on Community Preservation Committee. This would be for one of the council's at-large appointments.
Second.
Motion's been made and
McGrath
seconded.
Smith?
Oh, go ahead. There you go. No, you're good. You're good.
McGrath Smith,
Jay Ferreira?
Murphy Ramboletti,
Jay Ferreira,
Ocasio,
Jay Ferreira?
Israel Rivera,
Ferrero.
is Jenny Rivera,
Jay Ferreira?
Sullivan,
Jay Ferreira?
Bacon,
Jay Ferreira?
Anderson Burgos,
Jay Ferreira?
Devine,
Jay Ferreira?
Givner,
Ferreira.
Graney,
Mr. Jason Ferreira?
Jordan.
Jay Ferrera.
Jason Ferreira appointed to the CPA on the first ballot.
thank you,
12 votes.
everyone. All right, so that was item 2. Item 3.
Suspend the rules, take items 3 and 4, send them to the Public Service Committee.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend the rules and take items 3 and 4 as a package and send to public service. We'll do first, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the third item is a letter appointing Ms. Tiffany Espinosa to the Redevelopment Authority, and 4 is appointing Mary O'Connor to the Historic Commission. Sending to public safety, public service. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moved. Item 5 is the minutes from the January 7th meeting.
Motion to receive and approve.
Motion's been made and seconded to receive and approve. Any edits or corrections? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 6 is
Received.
from City Solicitor Lisa Ball, Holyoke Police Chief contract. Motion is to receive. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 7 is from Assistant City Solicitor Mantaleski. It's the notice of sale for Old Rock Valley Road.
Motion be received.
Motion to receive. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 8 is from the city auditor, response to order asking for information on revolving funds.
Be received.
Motion to receive. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item 9 is from Mary Monahan, Chair of Board of Public Works, funding request to Representative Duffy for levee repair.
Receive.
Second.
Motions to receive. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 11 is from, oh, sorry.
10.
Wait.
10.
Oh, 10. Oh, that was weird. Sorry. 10 is, oh, they're both from, okay, sorry. 10 is from Levesque Associates. It's the agreement to waive 60-day time frame to open public hearing on special permit application for 37 Appleton Street. Proposed motor vehicle repair garage.
Receive and send to DGR.
Yeah, I would also encourage to send also a copy to the law department
Okay.
for 9 and 10 with DGR.
Or 10 and 11.
Excuse me, 10 and 11, correct.
Okay. Is that a motion to take them as a package?
Yes, motion to take them as a package and send to the DGR with a copy to the law department.
Motion's been made and seconded to take items 10 and 11 as a package, send to DGR with a copy to the law department.
Law department. I thought you said water department.
Second.
So law department.
Law
Yes,
department.
law department. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item 12, 13,
14 and
15
15
minutes be received.
as a package.
All right. So the motion was to take items 12, 13, 14, and 15 as a package and receive.
Under discussion.
Under discussion, Councilor Jordan.
Any explanation given why these are 4 years late? Did they just never sent them to us, or they never did them and approved them? I think it was Councilor Bartley or somebody pointed out to them that these had not been done. And did we get it? I know they sent them over, but did we get an accompanying explanation as to what happened?
They sent them over. I did not receive any additional information
Okay.
communicated to us. But I'm glad to see them here, and hopefully going forward, this is more regular.
I believe the mayor.
And Jeffrey's going to get them online.
Oh, beautiful. Because I know the mayor recently had a training for staff about agendas and open meeting law.
Right.
all
And
of
I
that
think
stuff.
some departments have admin support and perhaps some don't, but I'm not sure. I won't speak for any department heads. So, but on the motion? Okay, so Jeffrey's also working with their staff to train them on on how they can do some of this on their own as well. So
Okay.
we love to hear it. Anything else? Okay, so the motion was to receive. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jeffrey, for your help getting those up online. Petitions, we have 2. Item 16 is a petition from Amanda and Marcos Garcia of 25 Brenton Lane for a home occupation for accounting remote work.
Receive, refer to DGR.
Receive and refer to DGR. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And 17 is a petition from Alan Feeney for a special permit for a family cemetery at 2 Feeney Road in Holyoke.
Receive, refer to DGNR.
Receive and refer to DGNR. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. So President's report, I was going to mention that the warming shelters are open. The shelter, thank you, Providence Ministries, Emergency Management, for doing that. It's extremely cold. Give a congratulations to our mayor, who was named the Grand Marshal of the our sister city of Tralee in Ireland. So congratulations, sir. And we had a very nice night at the Marshal's reception on Friday. I recognized Jim Lavelle on behalf of all of you fine folks. So, as it is parade season coming up fast, the parade committee will, it's my understanding, it was communicated to me at the last meeting that we'll be doing the proclamation as we usually do in March, so stay tuned for more details on that. And there is the Ambassador's Breakfast on parade day. There's obviously a ton of other events, but make sure you just connect with Jeffrey on that, and we'll have the same details as usual for those events. And I think that's all I've got for my president's report. Is there anyone else that wants to add something? Councillor Sullivan and then Councillor Devine.
Yeah, I just want to inform the council, as of about 6:30 this evening, the Board of Public Works, and this is after well over 18 months of work, has put forth the RFP
nice.
for the long-term sewer contract. That'll be available for everybody's reading pleasure. Tremendous amount of work. I really think we should be proud of the work that our director, Carl Rossi, and the DPW chairman, Mary Monahan, have done on this. The ad hoc committee and the members of the DPW, the outside consulting teams we had. It was a tremendous amount of work, but this is only the beginning. So this will be out on the 23rd. It'll go out this Thursday, and then the real process begins of interviewing applicants, site tour, vetting, interviews with them, and everybody's free to sit in on those interviews as well, and we'll have those published. Well, they are actually published, the dates in here. I believe it's as early as February 7th or something like that will be the first.
Nice. Well, thank you, Councillor, for your efforts as well. I know it's a lot.
We appreciate it.
We do.
Great job.
Thank you, but the real heavy lifting was done by Mary and Carl.
Absolutely. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Councillor Devine?
Yeah, I just wanted to also mention, since we were talking about parade stuff, that Bridget Monahan from Blue Bloods is our JFK Award winner, which is the highest award that the parade committee gives. And she will be honored at a mass and a dinner the day before the parade at the log cabin.
Thank you. Some may remember her from Coyote Ugly as well. I wanted to also just remind folks that the election, the special election, is next Tuesday. Can't forget that. So thank you to those who were able to join at the press conference. I know it was in the middle of the day. A lot of you have full-time jobs and work commitments. So, but I encourage the public to do the research and just remember to vote January 28th, a week from today, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. At your regular voting place. But call the clerk's office if you have any questions. Thank you. All right. So reports of committees. Item 18, the Committee on Ordinance, to whom is referred an order that the city install a raised crosswalk or other appropriate alternative on Nick Cosmos Way in front of the Boys and Girls Club to ensure pedestrian safety for residents, kids, and staff accessing the park. Recommended that the order be adopted. Councillor Rivera.
Thank you. So first, thank you to the constituents that came in and made the comments. I really appreciate it. I don't know how else to say thank you, so I'll just say thank you for the support. So with regards to this particular order, this is the order that kind of caused some of the ruckus the last week. I think one of the things that was brought to my attention, well, first of all, we all voted in favor of approving this. But what was brought to the attention at the meeting is that technically we don't actually have a process for the Boys and Girls Club to apply for a raised crosswalk, being that you have to get a certain number of constituents or of actually homeowners or residents that are registered voters to sign on to the agreement for the crosswalk within a certain distance. And in the meeting, although we approved it, it kind of came about that there would have to be an amendment to the current ordinance with regards to the crosswalk for them to even be considered to apply. So we approved it because we support it, but I'm hoping that this is followed up with some form of a amendment to the actual ordinance, just so that they could at least come under consideration for the application process. We did receive communication from the city engineer and, acting city engineer, and the DPW with regards to this particular request, being that there's already a light there, that if you push the button, it turns, I believe it should turn red, and if it doesn't, it will turn red soon. But their request is for more safety measures around just slowing speeds down regularly on the street. We've reached out to the fire department and the police department. Have yet to hear from the police department. I know the fire department says it's not that much of an issue for them with regards to emergency, but for police it might be a little different, since that might be a route that they take when they leave the police station. But just in committee, I think we agreed to push it forward as morally we agree to have this there, but the next steps would probably be that someone files some form of amendment to the ordinance, just so that they can actually undergo the correct application process. I think some of the confusion that came up that day was that the order that was filed was mostly focused on whether or not we can actually give them the crosswalk, but whether or not we approve it, it kind of doesn't matter if there is no ordinance to kind of follow up or give it some backing. But we were kind of in the process of actually creating the language and do all that, but that wasn't actually the order that was filed at the moment. So the argument came up that you can do this even though it's not presented as the order that was filed at the moment. So just trying to rectify the situation. I think for us, we figured just to vote on this particular order now, push that through, and then hopefully there will be another order around the amendment, just to help not just the Boys and Girls Club, but anyone that kind of runs into the same circumstances where there is no other residents or neighbors on the street that they're on, and they're putting in such a request. If I didn't do it enough diligence or justice, I have other committee members here. They can feel free to chime in if they feel like it. Councilor Bartley can chime in too and share his opinion if he'd like. But we're all here.
So it's my understanding that there is language in everyone's packet related to changing the ordinance that you guys discussed.
Oh, great. So look at that, even
Want to
better.
make sure everyone got that.
We do have the legal.
Right, okay, all right, cool.
There you go.
Is there any other discussion? Okay.
So just under that discussion, now I guess since we have the language, because in that meeting, it was never filed for us to actually create the language, right? I don't feel comfortable on voting on language that actually was in an order that was filed for the amendment for the language. That's just me personally. So if we're gonna take a vote on, I took a vote on approving the recommendation for the order that was filed. This is a different request, technically. So for me, I don't feel comfortable on voting on this in this particular moment. And that's, again, goes back to the crux of the situation of that particular meeting. So My apologies
There
to
you have
anyone
it.
that
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
agree.
I understand. I understand.
But that's just where I'm at with it. And again, I open to communication or discussion with anyone else.
Yeah, sure. I have Counselor McGrath Smith and then Counselor Anderson Burgos.
I think that you did a great job at speaking to the issue, and I think everyone on the committee is in full support of wanting to create ordinance language that will allow us to move forward with supporting the Boys and Girls Club to have the speed hump here. The conversation we were having in ordinance was just that. We just need to put in a companion order so that we can take up this ordinance and approve this change to our ordinance now that we have it drafted. Solicitor Bissonnette was fully invested in the conversation, understanding what was going on, and was able to provide us language, which was great. We were talking about, can we move forward, given that this helps this happen? And the conversation in the committee was torn between whether we could or we couldn't. But I would like to see us have a companion order where we can take this up as a shift to our ordinances, separate from the issue at hand, which is that we would like to support a speed hump there at the Boys and Girls crossing there.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Anderson Burgos and then Counselor Bacon.
Counselor McGrath stole my thunder.
Okay.
And I'm not going to sit here and reiterate what she
Okay.
said. So.
We love to hear it. Thank you. What? Oh, Counselor Bacon?
Thanks. I just wanted to point out that in the draft language, it would give them the ability to apply, and then they would go through the review by the engineer, as all of them do. So it would open the process. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I think the last thing I would say, I'd like to say thank you to both Councilor or Madam President Tessa Murphy-Romboletti and Councilor Vacan for kind of like helping me understand the situation in the moment, because it was going in a way where it didn't, like, we were approving something that was different than what was on the actual language, and you guys kind of helped point that out, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anytime.
No problem, even though I don't know if anyway. Okay, so with all of that being said, it's my understanding that you guys would rather send that legal language back to committee?
Can I just file a late
an
file?
order first.
Can I file a late file now?
Yeah, why not?
You could.
Yeah.
Just write
Yeah.
it down.
Oh, okay. I'll just file a late file now.
Yeah, that's
And then give it to Jeff.
okay.
Recycled papers.
He'll put it in right now. Look at that. Mr. Chair, you can. So we have what's in front of us on item 18 is recommended that the order be adopted, and that order is the one that's actually written out here, the one that I filed, that the city install a raised crosswalk on Nick Cosmos Way in front of the Boys and Girls Club to ensure pedestrian safety for residents. Everyone's on board with that? Counselor McGrath Smith?
Can I make a motion to table this until we have the late file to put it together and move it forward?
Sure thing. Is there a second to table this until we have it all together?
Second.
Sure.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll come back to 18. Item 19 is
Could we do all these as a package?
probably,
If, Izzy, do you have any objection if we did 19 through 25 as a package, since they're all the same?
Oh, no, yeah, no, we're good with that. Thank you
Okay.
for that.
Then I make that motion.
all right. Okay, love to hear that. So I'll read them into the record. 19 is that the DPW install a 15-minute parking sign in front of the Stop and Go on Hillside and Cherry Street. 20 is that a handicap placard. These are 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 and 25 are all for handicap signs. 20 is for 150 Linden Street. 21 is for 171 Beach Street. 22 is for 322 Linden Street. 23 is for 45 Congress Ave. 24 is for 184 Sargent Street. And 25 is also 184 Sargent Street. Got two there. Okay. So the motion was that these orders be adopted, and the clerk will call the roll if you vote.
Well, we got to do the readings, right? It's an ordinance.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Yeah.
Councilor Greeny,
Package 19.
can you speak into your microphone?
I'd just like to speak to number 19.
Yes, yes, yes.
Your
Number
discussion,
19.
Councilor Greeny.
Okay, I just want to thank the ordinance committee for taking this up, and I'll notify the owner of the good news tomorrow.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
No, I would say thank you, Councilor Graney, for filing this order. I haven't been present. I wasn't present at the last meeting to be able to finish it up, and thank you, Councilor Reagan, for taking it up. Yes, we kind of tried to hash that out as fast as we could because it does make sense with regards to the location and the business where it's at. But yeah, motion to pass the first reading?
Motion is to pass the first reading. Any other discussion? Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading.
Second.
Motion to pass the second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion that the passage be ordained.
Second.
Motion that the passage be ordained. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting to adopt these signs.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley, Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
You can hand it to
With that, you've approved. Thank you. All right. We have. Did you guys want to go back to anything? You want me to keep going?
Motion to take up 18 along with 57.
Motion's been made and seconded to suspend the rules
Yes.
and take items 18 and 57, late file 57, as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so as I said before, 18 is the order to install a raised crosswalk or other appropriate alternatives on Nick Cosmos Way to ensure pedestrian safety in front of the Boys and Girls Club. And that was recommended that the order be adopted. And late file 57 is just filed by Councilor Rivera. Ordered that the speed hump raised crosswalk ordinance be amended to provide for an exemption in areas where there are no residential homeowners or registered voters to file a petition. Councilor McGrath Smith.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to name that while we could, of course, send this to committee, in committee we talked about it at length and reviewed the language, and I would be personally comfortable with us suspending the rules to take final action on it tonight to approve it.
Second.
I was going to say second, but yeah.
Okay. So the motion was made and seconded to take final action this evening. Is there other discussion?
On item number 57, final action?
Yes.
And of course,
And-
any councilor has an issue with that, I'm happy to withdraw that.
Let's just,
Well,
let me read it a little more carefully. I thought this was going to committee, but. Sufficient density.
Councilor Bacon?
thank you. I think just as a technical point, we would just have to technically recess to have a meeting to then come back and because we have to have a recommendation from committee, but we could do it in 3 minutes. I mean, in 1 minute, because we have already looked at it.
Okay. I mean, I'll just
think
do
that's
what
what
the
I-
will of the body wants to. So we need,
So
wait,
the ordinance committee reviewed this language and approved it?
Yes.
We
We-
did, but it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay.
Sorry.
yes,
As
yes.
long as, I mean, it would be in proper form to do it tonight as long as we suspended the rules if we wanted to and there's no objection. Doesn't look controversial. I'd be okay with it if you wanted to move forward.
Any other discussion?
If
So
I
the
may.
motion, what, yes,
I
Councilor
don't want to
Rivera.
interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I didn't think it was controversial that day either, just to be clear. But like, I appreciate that, and I think that just for procedure, if that's the procedure and it's okay to suspend the rules to do that, I'm okay with that too. But if it's to send it to committee just out of process and procedure, whichever one. I have no issues. Yeah.
Councilor Graney and then Councilor Bacon.
Basically, we have to go into recess to do this, don't we?
Not if we suspend the
Not,
rules.
not if we suspend the rules.
Okay.
Councilor Bacon, did you?
I was just going to say we could do it either way as far as I understand the rules.
Okay. I'm not seeing anyone seeming to object suspending the rules. That's the motion on the floor. So if there's no other discussion, I would entertain a motion
Motion to suspend the rules.
to pass the.
Pass the ordinance.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, motion to pass the
Suspend
first
rules.
reading.
We just have to vote on suspending the rules, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say you got to vote on suspending rules first.
Oh, we didn't do that? Okay.
Yeah. Well, before I get to the motion to pass.
Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. So the motion is to suspend the rules and take final action tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Now, motion to pass the first reading of the language, to make the amendment to the language.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass the first reading. Is there any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pass the second reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion that the passage be ordained.
Second.
Motion that the passage be ordained. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting to take final action on 18 and late file 57 to amend the language to the ordinance. Clerk will call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, with that, you've passed it. Thank you. Phew. That was all the ordinance. Thank you. Okay. Item 26.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Counselor Sullivan.
I'd like to make a motion to take item number 55 out of order from the late files.
Second.
Motion. Oh. Motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rules and take item 55 out of order to take final action. I'll read the order into the record, filed by Councilor.
Take it out of order or to take final action?
To take final action.
Okay. All right.
I'm just repeating the motion.
All right.
That was on the floor. Let me just read it into the record. Councilor Sullivan filed an order for a transfer of $24,780 as follows from the vacant building revolving fund to property maintenance and demo supervisor. So the motion was made and seconded to take this out of order and vote final action tonight. Under discussion, Counselor, well, I'm going to start with Counselor
Sure.
Sullivan, sorry.
Sure.
Counselor Sullivan.
Okay, so the reason that I'd like to see us take final action on this tonight is this position has been vacant for over 3 years now. It wasn't funded this year, and we can all see what's happened during the time that this position has been vacant. A lot of progress was made by Jose Ricky Ortiz, we all know, handled many projects around the city, including the remnants of the Hotel Essex that collapsed here on High Street, numerous vacant buildings that were blighted and being inhabited by transients, vandalism being done, a tremendous amount of blight. And the city's gone backwards over the last 3 years with this position empty. If we want just a couple of examples, I could go on with a list of 100, but just take a look right outside this building at the parking deck. All right, this is something where we could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in the demolition if we had a good person in there. Right now, we have an opportunity for a person. A person has become available. It's not a guarantee that he'd be chosen, but we should go through the process and at least get the position posted again and funded. The revolving fund, as you saw earlier tonight, has $162,000 sitting in it. That was information that was presented to us earlier. The request is for $24,000. This is just to fund that position for the rest of this fiscal year. All right. Don't have much else to say about it except we've got full support from the Board of Health. They've had nobody to go around boarding up abandoned buildings. We've got full support from the building commissioner on this and full support from the mayor.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Jordan, and then Counselor Bacon.
I think the first thing I would say is it sounds like a beautiful conversation to have at the Finance Committee. That's why we have a Finance Committee. And if the job's been vacant for 3 years, this can't wait till the next Finance Committee meeting to discuss the ramifications of what the duties are, the position, and everything else. It didn't even make it to the agenda. It's coming in as a late file. Before we spend this, and then I have the obvious question, great, $24,000 for the remainder of this fiscal year. Where's the money? How much does the job even pay per year? That's just what it pays for the rest of the fiscal year. Is it $60,000, $70,000? I don't know. And then number two is where's that money coming from? Or is this just another job that we layer on top of every other job? And this is why the budget's up $3.9 million with the largest tax increase in Holyoke history, okay? Or are we going to perhaps take an empty other job and prioritize some other empty job and use those funds to fund this job? That's the beauty of government. We have to make priorities just like the families that have to send fat checks in envelopes down here to pay for all this, right? Every day they would love to have the Cadillac, the vacation, the new windows for the house, but they can only afford so many of those things. So we can sit here and lionize every new job that comes down the pike, but we need to start making some priorities because it isn't an everything budget. We don't have the money for everything. So I want to hear, where is this money coming from? Not from now till June 30th, but where is the money coming from on July 1st so we don't keep growing and growing and growing government? It isn't an infinite sum of money. So that's the conversation I would like. I just heard about this literally yesterday because this went, I do give credit, I did get one phone call yesterday about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know anything about it. But that's what we have a Finance Committee for. And if it's been vacant for 3 years, we can wait 2 weeks. Thank you. I would encourage, if we're going to take final action, we should not suspend the rules, and we should send it to Finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Bacon?
So my question that I just don't see answered on the paperwork was, because I can't remember when we set up the revolving fund, what could come out of it. And it has been said to me that it could be used to fund a position, but usually we get a thing from the auditor that says that, and I just don't see that. So maybe Counselor Sullivan knows, but.
Okay. Counselor Sullivan, did you want to respond to that question?
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to respond. Every comment that Counselor Jordan made is well taken. The thing I would also point out is, do we want to wait till we have another collapse like the Hotel Essex that I believe cost us somewhere in the neighborhood of $275,000? Where are the appropriations for these things going to come? Where are the appropriations going to come when a building next to Key Foods in the flats collapses on somebody coming out of the store? Where is the funds going to come from when the building next to the water department, where the employees can no longer park in the parking lot? Where are those funds going to come from? And those are certainly tremendously more significant amounts of money to be dealt with in future budgets than this position, and it is not a new position. As far as the ability to transfer from this account, this has been thoroughly vetted both by the auditor and by the legal department. I believe we have Attorney Bissonette on if we wanted to suspend our rules and hear from him as well.
Okay. I have Counselor Devine, Counselor Rivera, and then Counselor Greeny.
Thank you, Madam President. I did have a chance to talk to Counselor Sullivan, and I completely agree with him, and I'm not sure when this would get into finance, and if it's only going to be good until June 30th of 2025, I guess I would ask that we suspend the rules and get an opinion from City Solicitor or Bissonette. But I have no problem voting on this tonight.
Okay, was that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, so the motion was made and seconded to suspend the rules and allow Attorney Bissonette to respond to Counselor Bacon's inquiry about if this is allowed. Under discussion, Counselor Jordan.
I just want to understand Counselor Vacan, you had a question for the law department?
The question that I raised, I thought it was for the auditor, because usually it's the auditor that lets us know if something's available out of a fund, if we're doing a transfer, is my recollection.
Okay.
But
Point of order, Madam President.
Yes, Counselor Greeny.
I just like to get an explanation how this is going to stop a building from collapsing. I mean, a tragedy is a tragedy.
That's not really a point of order, so
It's a question.
Okay, but that's not a point of order.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I've got folks in line. There was a motion to suspend the rules and allow the law department to weigh in on this decision. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Attorney Bissonette, is there anything you want to add specifically about this? I don't think we have the auditor on the call.
I don't believe the tenure's on the call tonight. We've discussed this before with regard particularly to the abandoned building revolving fund. We've used it in the past to hire private contractors for demolition work. Clearly, the position has not been filled in several budgets, I think 2 budget cycles now. But certainly the funds under the terms of the revolving account, for this revolving account, could be used to fund personnel for which this position would be eligible. It's a sort of an either or. You could fund it out of tax dollars or out of this particular account. Of course, best practices would tell us not to do that on an annual budget cycle. You need to have a more permanent base for funding these positions that are meant to be permanent. But certainly in this instance, in the middle of a fiscal year, it's much like using free cash to fill positions.
Okay, thank you. I have Counselor Devine, then Counselor Rivera, and then Counselor Greeny. Counselor Devine?
I'm all set, Madam
Okay.
President.
Counselor Rivera?
Thank you. I'm dying over here. I don't want to interrupt because I get accused of interrupting.
Please don't interrupt. I will.
Real quick, to answer some of the questions, right? I filed an order, I want to say like almost a year ago, around revolving accounts, right? It's number 8, the packet number 8. kind of answers a lot of the questions that were asked right now. With regards to the revolving fund, I think it's this page here. Where's that? Vacant building revolving fund, where it has the fund name, the revenues, and the purposes, right? And then it says that you can kind of use it for boarding up and cleaning expenses and all the other things that were cited with regards to the position. I agree with Councilor Jourdain's question with regards to how it will be funded in the future. But when you look at this sheet here, right? The revolving account says, where's the first page? Let me go back. I actually look like I did some homework, right? It says that currently they have 162,699,000, and then for the 2024 revenues alone, just 2024, it's 117,492. So if that's just 1 year revenue, the position technically kind of funds itself.
I don't want to interrupt.
No, you don't have to interrupt, right?
I appreciate
no.
all
I appreciate that. I appreciate
it. No,
I appreciate that.
This is good.
Yes,
this
that's
is
enough.
healthy.
Yes. It's working.
All right.
Wait, real quick. So, like, yes, it's not. It's not something that's in the budget. So, like, I agree where you're coming from, right? It's not a line item in the budget. Like, you don't see it in the budget, and you don't want it to increase the budget. Technically, here, this approach is not increasing the budget. And if we find out a way to take the same approach, you don't add to the budget in the long term. You're just adding. You're using the money that's coming in and pushing it out without adding to the budget, which is what we don't want in the long term. So if there's a way to kind of like use this 24,000, and if we do it, it's January, we put it together, it'd be 48. So we say 50,000, for example. If there's a way to just continuously kind of do this in a way where it's not coming and adding to the actual budget, then it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's good questions to ask for the long-term budget, but I think for right now, I'd be okay with voting for the 24,000 because it's not actually adding to the budget. But I'm only one guy. That's all. Thank you for respecting that.
Great. Thanks, everyone. I still have folks in line. I have Councilor Graney, then Councilor Jourdain, and then Councilor McGrath-Smith.
Yeah, I need an explanation how funding this position now or immediately is related to any possible, building collapses or anything like that. I don't understand.
Councilor Sullivan, since it's your order, would you like to respond?
Please explain the connection.
Yeah, gladly. If you want to take the Cabot Street building as one example, all right? Already bricks have fallen off that building onto the sidewalk, all right? Anybody that can drive by there, and I think I have two counselors here that will attest to it, you can see a bulge in that building already. Similar to the stuff we saw go on with the Hotel Essex and numerous other buildings around the city as well. The employees at the water department can no longer park next to the old Wonder Bread building for the exact same reason. The final one, to make even more sense of it, right where we park our cars, right here, our own parking deck, right? A demolition supervisor would be able to, with the credentials that are already spelled out, the position's already created, the credentials are there. The asbestos could be removed and the costs of the demolition substantially reduced and the process speeded up, even some of it taken in-house to accomplish. That alone would be a savings to the city of, this is going to be, the demolition of that parking deck alone is going to be well over $1 million project. So to me, all of this is something we finally have a qualified person in line. We've got a tidal wave of blight and structural problems coming at us, and it's time that we've got an opportunity to take some action.
Councilor Graney, did you want to respond?
So you want to move on this position to point those things out that what is this person gonna do? Condemn these buildings? What contacts will this person make to somebody that's gonna demolish these buildings or something like that?
Councillor Sullivan?
Yeah, these are all the things that the demolition supervisor used to do. In some cases, it's preparing the buildings for demolition to reduce the cost of the city. In some cases, it's doing the actual demolition itself. And a lot of them, it's as basic as getting in there and doing the board ups and keeping people out of the building, keeping more destruction from going on, identifying, helping put together a list of the blighted properties that we have. That list now has not been updated in 4 or 5 years. I could go on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Councillor Greeny?
My problem is these things have existed for a long time, and the caisson keeps rolling along. We don't get anything done. Do we have money in the city that's going to take care of these problems when the demolition inspector says we need to do this to this building? Do we have the funds to do that? Because it's going to cost money, to repair these buildings to go ahead and move on with these issues.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. And
so do we have that? Well, we're talking about funding after the funding of the person who's going to take the job, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's going to cost money, and do we have it?
So the short answer to that is, in the past, what we've done is monies have come out of other funds as the demolition supervisor identified these and got the go-ahead. For example, some were done out of CDBG, some were done out of the regular annual budget. There was a line item for the demolition of buildings. Some were through grants. It's quite a variable formula, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I have so many people in line. This feels like a finance committee meeting, and I love that. Okay, so I got Councillor Jordan, Councillor McGrath-Smith. Then I have Councillor Jenny Rivera. Did you ever just have your hand up? Councillor Givner. Okay, Councillor Jordan.
Thank you. A couple of things. One is, again, this should all be discussed. We have a job to do, folks. Our job is people file orders. It's an appropriation. There's a lot of facets to doing demolition. Do we have a demolition plan? What will that cost? What will this person do? How will his position be funded? Because I'm assuming you want the person here longer than June 30th. Is it going to come from the general fund? You already heard my opinion of that. Or, as Councilor Rivera, you probably win my vote if they say, yeah, Kevin, we're going to fund it out of the revolving fund. I thought your suggestion's an excellent one. If that's the case, you probably win my vote, okay? Because that's what we have. I'm trying to say this government needs to prioritize, and we need to do the job with the money that we have. And we cannot keep asking for more and more and more taxes, and that we have to prioritize. And that might mean saying yes to this and no to something else. And that's what we get paid to do, right? That's what mayors get paid to do. They get paid to say, you don't have an infinity amount of money. You have X. And now it's your job to dole out X. And we have a job to say if that makes sense or not. We haven't done any due diligence. Honestly, how many of you even thought about this up until 15 minutes ago, right? Honestly. Okay, don't raise your hands. But we need to have an honest discussion about what is going on with demolition. The job's been empty for 3 years, okay? So if that's the case, we'll probably listen, have a nice discussion, we'll line out the money. The mayor might say, well, I didn't want to do that, but I'll do this. And then we're all probably happy and we all vote for it in 2 weeks. And if it's that important, I'm sure the chair will put it on her agenda if this is top priority. These are all things. One, there isn't any demolitions that are going to occur in the next 2 weeks. That I can pretty much assure you, because I haven't seen any requests for any money to do any demos. We're certainly not demoing the back lot out here in the next 2 weeks. They ain't demoing Cabot Commercial Street in the next 2 weeks. So whatever this person's going to do, we need to have a thoughtful conversation. Let's do our job, and we can have this wonderful conversation in finance. That's the reason I'm a no at the moment. Probably get me to yes, as I already told someone before. It's a question of where are we taking this and where's the budget for this person to even have a job. And if there's a brick falling off, then tomorrow go send somebody from the DPW over to grab the brick, okay? So that's not, no one's gonna play that game with me, all right? If there's some immediate danger, we got a whole team right down on Canal Street. Send them over tomorrow morning. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilor McGrath-Smith?
I have questions around if it's full, part-time, or contracted services. I would love to see the job description. And I'd love to know, anytime you're pulling money out of a fund for one thing, it means that you potentially can't spend it on something else. So I would like to know what the options are for what else this could be used for, so that we can weigh it against the merit of this choice. I just have lots of questions, and I feel like this probably should go to committee because there's just a lot left to be discussed here.
Thank you. Councilor Jenny Rivera?
Thank you. So I have had conversations with Councilor Sullivan about this, and I am in favor of it. That one, it is my ward on Cabot Street. I believe this fire, if I looked it up, it was back in 2019. As you drive by, you see all the homeless, and the homeless in Holyoke has gotten really bad, really bad. So you're seeing the homeless are just all gathering their carts. They got mattresses out there. It's going to come to the point, if that building doesn't get demolished, it's going to come to the point where they're going to be in the building, and it's just going to be another fire. So are we going to wait for a tragedy to happen before we could take action on this? Because that is, like I said, that happened back in 2019, and that building is still there. And there is a lot of traffic on Cabot Street with people walking to Seatown, people parking and going over to Capri Pizza. So I am in favor. Mike Sullivan has spoken to me, so I am in favor of this order.
Thank you. Councilor Gibner?
I'm all set, Madam President.
Councilor Anderson Burgos?
I'll be quick. So there's two sides of it. I mean, one is fiscal responsibility, right? We can all agree on that, fiscal responsibility. But when I ran on safety. And to me, when it becomes fiscal or safety, safety comes first. It's plain and simple. So I already know how I'm going to vote. You guys vote the way you want, but I'm voting for safety. That's it. Thank you.
Councilor Devine?
Yes, thank you. Just a couple of things. Right now, I'm looking at my calendar. I probably couldn't have a finance meeting until the 11th or the 24th. But having spoken to Councilor Sullivan, and correct me if I'm wrong, Councilor, but I believe you know pretty much a lot about demolition and things like that, or you wouldn't have brought this forward, because when I saw the late file today, I asked Jeffrey, how come your name was on it and not mine, since it was a financial transfer, if you will, and he did mention that the auditor had taken care of this, so I have no problem whatsoever, and I do agree with Councilor Anderson Burgos. It is about safety, and I can't even imagine that Mike Sullivan, who is also on the Finance Committee, would take this up as a late file order, knowing that he's going to get some stuff handed to him. So I'm in favor of this. Sometimes we have to do this, rather than send it to committee.
Thank you. To be clear, Councilor, do you have a Finance Committee meeting on the 29th?
Let's see. I do, but I don't know what the agenda is yet.
Okay, so I'm as the chair, I'm hearing what everyone is saying. I'm trying to be the chair. Could you put this on the next committee meeting? We need 9 votes in order to take final action on it tonight. If you guys want to do that, I'll have the clerk call the roll and we can see if we've got it. Kind of have a feeling we don't, but We can do that, Counselor.
You know,
And then, like, because I understand the urgency, but I also understand the questions. So I'm trying to
Yep.
just be the president here. Is that a possibility, Counselor Devine?
I would say that I certainly will do that, but I would also caution people to actually Zoom in or show up to the Finance Committee.
Okay.
So I will definitely do my best to put it on there, depending on how this vote goes. And if the vote says table it until the 29th, I'm fine with that as well.
We can vote on, there is a motion on the floor to take final action tonight, so we can vote on that. Okay?
Okay.
Is there any other discussion? Counselor Sullivan?
I'd like
Oh,
to make,
and then Counselor Bacon.
well, I'd like to make one final point. As far as a person coming on board in a very short period of time, would they start a demolition project next week? No. All right. Would they begin the process of getting that underway? And as we say, cutting down the time frame, mitigating the danger, the liability to the city on the first day of the job. You better believe it.
Counselor Bacon?
Just a quick comment. So what I heard from our law department is we could take it out of the revolving fund now if we wanted to, but he said it wasn't a good practice to rely on this fund to fund the position. And my concern is adding more positions. If we could use this fund for the position, I'd be warmer to it. Now, I don't know if the comment from the law department means you can or you can't, or it's just a comment, but I find myself stuck between what I consider good process and being practical, So if we could use the vacant building fund, then I'm comfortable with it. If we are going to add another thing into the budget, one more job that we keep adding in here and there, and then we have to pay the whole freight come the next year, then I'm cold on it. So I guess it would perhaps be up to the will of the body, and I don't really have a strong sense of that, other than a couple comments that seem warm to using the revolving fund, which to me makes sense, because that's why we set it up, but.
So
I'm just conflicted on it, but.
Totally. I have Counselor Sullivan and then Counselor Jordan.
So I know I said final comment. I'll make my final comment. We are not adding a position. We are filling a vacant position. The job description is out there. It's existed for 8 years now. All right. So that's what we're doing. And as far as next year's budget, people don't like it, they can cut it from the budget. The mayor, it's up to him how it fits in, what other things have to be jockeyed around to make it work.
Okay. Thank you, Counselor Jordan.
Just going to say,
this is everyone's fourth time, to be honest. So, this could have been a finance committee meeting. So, Counselor Jordan?
Yeah, thank you, Madam President. I'm just going to briefly say, we don't know the answer. That's why we should have the committee meeting, because we don't know what the mayor's going to do. We should have a thoughtful conversation, and then we can find out what the mayor's going to do for next year and how it all fits in. Thank you.
Okay, on the motion was to suspend the rules to take final action this evening. I'll have the clerk call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
No.
Murphy Ramboletti,
No.
Ocasio,
No.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
No.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan,
No.
8 yeas, 5 nays.
Okay.
No, that can't be right.
Yeah, that's
It
right.
is right.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So under the rules, it's automatically in finance.
Okay. I understand the need for discussion. Counselor Devine, I really hope you can put it on the next agenda so
will.
that we
I will.
won't delay this any further
Yeah,
and
I will.
everyone can be, hopefully, no one's ever happy. So as happy as one can be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'll put it on.
Appreciate it. Okay, it is 8:23 and we still have a bit of an agenda to go. So please just be mindful of that this evening. Thank you. Item 26 is filed by, it was the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order of $10,500 from patrolman to map data maintenance. Recommended that the order be adopted. The motion would be to receive, adopt. Counselor Devine?
Do we pass the first reading, or we don't have?
Yep.
Okay, and pass the first reading.
Okay,
And
you can give your update.
we did, the chief came in with Sergeant Zerhide, and he explained about the transfer because of it's to cover pending invoices for technology, that the item was underfunded. And nobody had any questions for him, and it was pretty easy, so we appreciate him coming in.
All right, so the motion was to pass the first reading. Is there any other discussion on that item? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there another motion?
Motion to pass the second reading.
Second.
Motion is to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting in favor of the transfer request.
Grasnick,
Yes.
Bergeron Blight,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Hey, Brenna, you kind of sound like a robot.
AI.
Sorry.
Take your voice changer off.
Let's see.
I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Agent.
Sorry.
We can understand her, though.
Do you want someone else to call the roll?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Go for it. Just go for it. We can do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ocasio.
We could understand her.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Doreen.
Yes.
And Bartley's yes.
Yeah, Bartley's there.
Oh, sorry. Bartley, unanimous vote.
It's actually great comedic relief for me right now, Brenna, so I don't mind it.
A terrible case of laryngitis.
With that, you have passed it. Item 27 is filed by the Committee on Finance to accept the provisions of the fiscal year 25 Shannon Community Safety Initiative Grant Program, $606,000, $446.54 with a 25% in-kind match. Recommended that the order be adopted. Counselor
Motion to
Devine?
pass the first reading.
Motion's been made to pass the first reading. Counselor Devine?
Yeah, and again, the chief was in, and for people that don't know, Shannon was a senator, Senator James Shannon, and he was very pro-police. And this grant has been increased this year, and it'll run until 12/31/25. The 25% in-kind is tracked in quarterly reports towards gang suppression, walking beats in Thetford Apartments, Churchill, Lyman Terrace, Bowdoin Village, 2 officers having meetings, and partner with the Boys and Girls Club, and here and in Chicopee. And the Sheriff's Department, they will match the funds by the 25%. And we had a good discussion, and again, thank you, Chief and Sergeant Zerhide, for coming in.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there any other comments? Okay, so the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading?
Second.
Motion to pass the second reading, and the clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting to approve the transfer.
McGrath Smith.
She's out of the room.
She's out of the room right now,
She said yes.
but she just shouted yes.
Murphy Ramboletti.
Yes.
Ocasio.
She said
She
yes.
said yes.
Israel Rivera.
Yeah. Yes.
Jenny Rivera.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Givner.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
That you have approved that transfer, or that grant.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it's, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try signing out quick and try and sign back in.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. All right, item 28 is from the Finance Committee. This is for the fiscal year 25 Commonwealth Project Safe Neighborhoods Initiative Grant, $30,000, no match. Recommended that the order be adopted.
Motion to pass the first reading?
Motion to pass the first reading, Counselor Devine.
Yeah, this is the Commonwealth Safe Neighborhood Initiative Grant for $30,000, no match. And the Holyoke Police Department, in conjunction with the Mass State Police, for gang suppression, crime, and quality of life issues. And it has to be used by June 28, 2025. And again, thank you, Chief and Sergeant Zerhide, for it being in there.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? Alrighty, so the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye. Motion to pass the second reading?
Second.
Motion to pass the second reading. Our clerk is back. Are you ready? You want to try? The clerk will call the roll. Oh, now we can't. Oh, just kidding. Hold on.
McGrath Smith.
There we go.
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti.
Yes.
Ocasio.
She said yes.
Israel Rivera.
He also said yes.
Jenny Rivera.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Givner.
Yes.
Graney.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you. With that, you've passed it. Okay, 29 is the Committee on Ordinance, to whom is referred a transfer request of $30,000 as follows: from Capital Stabilization to the War Memorial R&M Building, $30,000. Recommended that the order be adopted. Counselor Devine?
Motion to pass the first reading?
Motion to pass the first reading. Go ahead, Counselor.
Yeah, the DPW Building and Maintenance Supervisor was in, and he estimated that $15,000 would be to fix the steam pipes, $10,000 to waterproof the pit, the elevator pit. And he does feel that it does seem like there's some groundwater that might be coming in. And so that's why it was passed. I think originally we tabled it till we were got more information, so we're all set with that.
Okay, is there anything else anyone wants to add? Alrighty, so the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading?
Second.
Motion is to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll, and if you vote yes, you're voting in favor of the transfer.
McGrath Smith.
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti.
Yes.
Ocasio.
Yes.
Israel Rivera.
He said yes. He's getting back to
Jenny
his seat.
Rivera.
Yes.
Sullivan.
Yes.
Bacon.
Yes.
Anderson Burgos.
Yes.
Bartley.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Givner.
Yes.
Greeny,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, with that, you have passed that transfer. Item 30 is from the Finance Committee for a transfer request of $15,000 from Pay HMEO to R&M Senior Center. Recommended that the order be adopted. Councilor Devine?
Yeah, motion to pass the first reading.
Motion's been made to pass the first reading. Go ahead,
We
Councilor.
did have Mr. Peterson in to give us a rundown of the senior center and the problems that are there. And what it is to replace the parking lot and to make all the lights functional. Right now, some are dim, some do not light at all, some blink. So he wants to repair and illuminating the lights, replacing the transfers of 115 volt to what LEDs need to, so that all the lights would be functional.
Is there any other comments or discussion? Okay, so the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye. Motion to pass the second reading?
Motion to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting to approve the transfer.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Greeny,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
With that, you've passed it. Thank you. 31 is the Committee on Finance, that the City Council accept the provisions of the Massachusetts Department of Public Health and Partners for a Healthier Community Capacity Build Racial Equity $10,000 no match grant. Recommended that the order be adopted. Councilor Devine?
Yep, motion to pass the first reading?
Motion to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
I mean, wait, sorry, go ahead and give your discussion.
Okay. Kelly Curran, the head of the Personnel Department, was online, and she explained that it was a $10,000 no-match grant for racial equality, cultural humility training with department heads. Women of Color is facilitating it online, and then they will be scheduling to the Holyoke Fire Department, Holyoke Police Department, and DPW in person training, and understand that it's people have different cultures, different backgrounds, and in work and what their interactions with other cultures, and the department heads were giving feedback. So that's what it was all about, and I thought she did a great presentation, and it was from the State Department of Health. And we did ask for the curriculum, so I'm not sure if, Jeffrey, if you were given that? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, if you could, for the future, maybe we could get the curriculum. Thank you.
I can email Kelly or something. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Councilor Greeny?
Does this have anything to do with hiring and firing?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or discussion? Okay, so the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass the second reading?
Motion to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting in favor.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Greeny,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Okay, with that, you've passed it. Item 32 is the Committee on Finance referred a transfer request of $48,826.15. From,
Excuse me, Madam President, could we take up 33 and 34 along with that?
Second, as a package. Yeah.
okay, so the motion has been made and seconded to suspend the rules and take items 32, 33, and 34 as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So item 32 is the transfer request for $48,826.15. And item 33 is from the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order settlement agreement by the city and the Holyoke Professional Supervisors Association. And 34 is the Committee on Finance, to whom was referred an order red line settlement agreement by and between the City of Holyoke and the Holyoke Professionals Supervisors Association. All three orders have been recommended that the order be denied. Councilor Devine.
Yeah, it's 3-2 denied. That was Ocasio, Sullivan, and Jordan to deny, and Devine and Givner to accept. And I went through the meeting, and Kelly Curran also talked about that some people were upset that these professionals were getting too much vacation time. There were recruitment problems, according to Kelly, that they were, flex time was happening anyways, and one of the things that they needed to negotiate was comp time. Comp time is money. That's a lot more money than flex time. And so that was one of the things that they had to negotiate. There was no more buyback of vacation. And we did have the Labor Council in for the city, and he said it was a major improvement on what was there now. And it was the cost of the contract and the language was, a lot of things were negotiated. It took about 1.5 years to negotiate. It is a union. It's not it's not a association any longer. It's through AFSCME. And the comp time was an issue, and finally they were able to, the city did not want the employees to have comp time, and finally there was an agreement between the parties to have flex time. And as well as, vacation did change as well as longevity. The wages were 2%, 2%, and 1.5%. And there was also a merit component in the contract, which was not there before. And I think that's probably about it, but I will, I'm not sure if anybody would like me to read Attorney Bissonnette's letter, and I'm happy to do that because some people were concerned about retroactivity, so I will read that. Hi, Counselor. I am checking in prior to the Finance Committee meeting this evening to share my position on the above statute. The use of the description term, in quotes, prior, in the statute requires a reading consistent with legislative intent while interpreting the meaning of the usage. Here, absence of term prior, the statute would clearly limit any retroactive pay to the beginning of the current fiscal year in which the contract was executed. The addition of the word prior to this equation allows the full legislative intent to be that retroactive pay is limited to the fiscal year prior to the fiscal year in which the contract was executed. In this case, fiscal year 2025 began on July 1st, 2024. The relevant statute allows retroactive pay to be awarded back to the beginning of fiscal year 2024, which began July 1st, 2023. Happy to discuss this further if you have any other concerns. So we did read that into the record. And I know that there were still concerns. Councilor Jordan can certainly speak of this, but I wrote down his concerns. He was concerned about the retro, and as you can see, that was taken care of. He was concerned about the vacation and having flex time, longevity changes, and other cost and language beyond the payroll. And so certainly Counselor Jordan would probably want to add to this.
Okay, and what was your motion? I'm sorry if I missed it.
The motion to pass the first reading, I think? No, it's. Well, wait.
Well, that would be
Okay,
the.
this is, it's already been denied. in
Okay.
committee, and then it came back out, and it's on our agenda tonight,
Yep.
okay?
I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything
Right.
else.
And it's a 3-2 vote, and I explained who the 3-2 vote were. So what I'd like to do right now, to be honest with you, because I think this is probably going to be the third time we're talking about this, I'd like to move to reject the committee report and approve the transfer.
Second.
Okay, so motion was made and seconded to reject the committee report and approve the transfer. Under discussion, Counselor Jordan.
Thank you, Madam President. Overall, I thought the chair did a nice job with her summary. A couple points. Attorney Bissonette and I were able to talk through the retroactivity point, but that's kind of a minor consideration in the overall scheme of things. The main driving points here is a couple things. One, the majority of the Finance Committee is not opposed to people getting pay raises. I think we've been quite generous, as a matter of fact. And if this was a 2 or 3% raise that we've been giving to all the other city employees, no problem. There wouldn't be any issue. What we don't have is just that. What we have here is really a wholesale giveaway on so many fronts that it just really shocks the conscience as far as I'm concerned. It just once again shows why we're in the financial predicament that we're in. We cannot be giving these kind of giveaways. So let me start with the list. And again, I went through these at Finance twice and at the council meeting 2 weeks ago when this council voted this down the first time, and I think it should do it so again. So the first one is the Schedule A, vacation leave. This contract seeks to mirror the large giveaway on vacation time that was given away by the council 2 years ago to all the Schedule A department heads. So now, by the way, this is really bizarre sort of association, union, whatever you want to call it, because it's very rare to have a situation where the people supervising the other people are in the same exact union. You have department heads who, they don't mention those titles as much as they should, but there's about 8 or 9 department head titles mixed in with middle management, which is really, those are the individuals that should be. There shouldn't be any union, quite frankly, for department heads. Those folks should serve either fixed term or at the pleasure of the mayor. That's a whole nother separate issue for another day. But having said that, these other individuals that were in Schedule A were all given dramatically amounts of additional vacation time, specifically 2 additional weeks 2 years ago. And there was another provision that added that when you started, you were able to negotiate with the mayor an additional 2 weeks when you start. So, for example, when a new employee used to start, you would get 2 weeks, but you can negotiate 4 weeks if the mayor wanted to give it. We're just not in a position to be giving away another extra 2 weeks of vacation to everybody. We simply cannot afford that in these positions or others. And it's inconsistent with what the average Holyoke worker is getting, okay? There is no one that is getting the type of sick leave, vacation leave, 13 holidays, and then, the mayor has been exceptionally generous on all these extra bonus days off. Day after Thanksgiving, day before, this day, that day. I mean, I lose track. There's so many that you have all these extra days off. It's all in addition, all extra holidays. Hey, great, but, people can't afford these things. And again, the average Joe Holyoker cannot afford that. Okay, so that's item 1. Item 2, longevity pay. They now went to giving 5-year employees now longevity. Used to have to be 10 years to get longevity pay. So now we're advancing that calendar, every employee $500 for an extra 5 years. That's not free. That's in addition to 2 and 3. $500 each? That's in addition to the 2 or 3% raise. Okay, next up. Flex time. We talked about that. Flex time, that provision was silent. That was up to the discretion of the mayor previously. One, they have a very generous 35-hour work week. Okay, most people in America, when you work full time, you're 40 hours a week. So right off the bat, you're 5 hours less than that as a freebie. And in this new provision, it states, it shall not be unreasonably denied if you're asked to stay over your 35 hours. They didn't have any language on that previously in the agreement. Maybe this administration wants to give everybody, a fixed 35 and, you take extra time off the next day, whatever it is. But other mayors may have different opinions, okay? Some might say, you know what, you're a middle manager, okay, we'll kind of more hold you to the 35-hour schedule. But if you're a department head, you know what, this is what you signed up for. You might have to do 50 hours this week. That doesn't mean you only get to do 20 the next week. It doesn't work that way. And if, God forbid, we even compare to the private sector, most people that are these type of department head level positions or directors in companies, you're working 50, 60 hours a week. Easy. And you certainly don't go into the boss the next day and say, oh yeah, I'm taking 3 days off next week because I had to work 55, 60 this week. It doesn't work that way in the real world. Okay? So this has gotten so out of hand that maybe through us turning this down and asking all these nice people to go back and have a new conversation or an updated conversation, we can't afford all this. And our angle in all of this is subject to appropriation. We can't afford this. All this type of stuff needs a new world reality check. And otherwise, maybe the answer is Kevin's crazy and we should give tax increases of $3.9 million every year. Maybe I'm the crazy one and I'm living in some alternate universe, and maybe that's the right way to run government. The problem is I maintain from the people who sent me here, they're running out of money and they're getting hit with groceries all the way down the line, and they can't afford 6.2% tax increases on top of the 5% that they got whacked last year. So either I'm crazy or citizens say, can I have this kind of a deal? And I think we need to do some better advertising, because if there's vacancies and gigs like this, with all the pay increases we've also given over the years, and the salary adjustments and the revisiting of the schedule, they shouldn't have any problem filling all of these type of positions.
Thank you. I have Councilor Givner and then Councilor Bacon.
Thank you, Madam President. So we've definitely talked about this quite a bit. My feelings haven't changed about this. I think if an organization takes the time to negotiate their contract, we as a city, I think we should respect that. There was an email from Kelly Curran today about some money that was saved. If the language about buying back vacation and sick time was no longer in their contract, that would have been a significant savings this last year, about just over 20 grand. And I think when we look at the longevity change, where there's longevity at 5 years instead of longer, I would imagine that reflects the turnover in our city. I hate to say it, but we're not really keeping people, and it's not because we treat them really well and give them tons of benefits. We're having a hard time keeping our labor force. I'm sure that's a combination of specialized labor, the market, and pay. We've all been here losing, good Holyoke City employees to other cities. We've all witnessed that. I hate to think that we could have kept people over a week's additional vacation. Giving someone an extra day of sick time or an extra personal day or 3 extra personal day in the grand scheme of things, I don't think is obnoxious. I don't think that, I think I'm hearing a lot of speculative narration about what it's like in the real world. I'm not sure how many of us work in the real world, but I'm thinking there's only about, I think everybody's reality is probably pretty different in this room. We've got people who work for themselves, who can do whatever they want, people who work for nonprofits. We have people who work for the city. We have people who work
as in restaurants, as landlords, as teachers. We have retired people. So I think when I look around in this room, I think we're probably a pretty good sampling of what the real world looks to all of us individually. And, you know, when I was part of a union and I worked for the state, I really appreciated the contract negotiations. I don't think my employer would have given me the things I needed to stay there. And I think I stayed much longer because of the benefits that were given. And I have to say that if people don't take their vacation and they just lose it, that's just a benefit for us to not have to buy back vacation days. And the people who are not taking vacation now and not getting buybacks, those are the same people who you give an extra week vacation to who are still not going to take it. So I think when we look at our city, we should be mindful about the services we expect. Our taxpayers do pay for services, and they're not really getting them. They're not getting them because we can't keep employees and we can't fill positions. And this idea that it must be so easy to fill positions because we're giving people such great benefits and salaries, well, it's just not true. We're not keeping people in positions. We have empty seats. We have empty positions. We have understaffed departments. And our taxpayers who do pay for these positions that are in the budget and aren't filled deserve better. And if better means an extra 2 days of sick time and an extra week vacation that they may or may not take, I think we really need to consider that. You know, we expect a full service city. When people call departments and they get a voicemail and they don't get a response within the same day because the departments are understaffed, they call us as city councilors and complain about all the money they pay in taxes and don't get the services for. Why is that? Because we've decided we don't want to honor contract negotiations and we don't want to keep people in the positions that they've negotiated and give them the things they've asked for because, I don't know, because we just think that even though these positions have already been paid by taxpayers that we just don't have to fill them because we just don't want to. So, sorry to go on, but I think Holyoakers deserve better, especially from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I have Councillor Bacon and then Councillor Anderson Burgos.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a question about the vote, because before us on the agenda, we have a recommendation that was on the jacket from the committee that the order be denied, but the chair has made a motion to ignore the committee jacket and has made a different motion, and I just wonder which motion should actually be on the floor.
So this is...
It was a majority committee.
So it's the same motion that was done at the last meeting. The councillor similarly at the last meeting recommended that to deny the committee's report, which if you remember, it's one of those ones where it's like if you vote yes to deny the committee's report, then you're voting to deny.
So
that's what we did.
Voted to deny the transfer. So if we vote yes, we're denying the transfer. It just sounded like it was the opposite way, the way it was said. I just wanted to clarify.
Sure, absolutely.
How we're voting.
No, I get it.
Thank you.
Councillor Devine.
Yeah, if people need to suspend the rules and we can have Solicitor Mike Bissonette speak, but to clarify what my motion was, it was move to reject the committee report and approve the transfer. And I'd like to make a motion to have Mike Bissonette speak if anybody has any questions to him.
Second.
Oh, okay, so wait, does anyone have any questions?
I thought you did a perfectly fine job, Madam President. Basically, it's just the opposite.
Sorry, I appreciate the compliment.
No, it's true. You did. I mean, basically, if she's saying the motion was to deny, the report is to deny, so she's saying basically reject that, so approve.
Right.
So a yes vote is to approve and a no vote is to deny it.
A yes vote is that you're rejecting the committee's report and
Which is to
approving the transfer.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anyone Does that answer your question?
Right, but it's not the same vote we took last time, because last time we voted on the question of the committee report that said deny the transfer. So then a yes vote was to deny.
Okay.
Tonight, a yes vote
Is to approve.
is to approve.
A yes vote.
So it's the opposite.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine. When someone makes a motion, I'm just reiterating.
I just wanted to clarify.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. So to be clear for everyone, and we'll get there, I still have Counselor Anderson Burgos in the queue for questions. So we'll come back to that, but I appreciate just the clarification. Just trying to keep the wheels in motion. Counselor Anderson Burgos.
Thank you, Madam President. So one thing we can all agree on, yes, the cost of living is going up. That's 100% for sure. It's not going down. As far as the employees who are seeking this contract and having it approved, I've mentioned this before. These employees are not just employees, they actually are also constituents. They live in the city and they pay towards the tax base. So that's one thing. And then regarding vacation, it kind of washes itself out, because even though you go on vacation, whether you're working or on vacation, the job is still getting done. So it's like it washes out. It's not like you're losing more money whether the person's there or not. Like it doesn't make sense. And I also want to point out that Councilor Givner made a very good point in regarding how you treat your employees. I remember, and some of the older city councilors that are on here today, if they recall, our former building commissioner, Damian Cody, was working extremely hard, not only doing his job, but he was also, there was a position, I can't recall the position, but there was a position that he was doing that job as well. And when he came before us, all he asked was some kind of incentive for all the extra work he was doing. This city councilor, not this one specific, but the one then, denied him that. And guess what? We lost him. So when Councilor Givner brings up the fact that if you treat an employee in such manner, we're going to lose employees. If we keep losing employees, we're just not going to have a city to run. It creates more of a problem than you think. I just want people to think about that. Put yourself in those shoes. I'm like, the city of Holyoke is not the only city, and their talents are proven over and over and over again. Make all the points you want about vacation and taxes or whatever, but it's still, at the end of the day, we have a city to run, and if we don't have employees, we're not going to have a city to run.
Oh, thank you. Councilor Graney.
Just quickly, to my knowledge, there is no residence.
Just make sure I'm sorry, into the microphone, please.
There is no residence requirement for these positions that I know of. If these people are all our constituents and live in the city, I don't think there's a residence requirement for these positions, is there? No.
No.
Thank you.
Okay.
On the motion?
Thank you.
On the motion to reject the committee report and approve the transfer?
So if you vote yes, you are voting to deny the committee's report, which is approving the transfer.
Correct.
Okay. The clerk will call the,
A yes
Wait.
vote is to approve the.
a yes vote is,
Approve the transfer.
Right. No
right,
vote is
that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I
I just
said.
want to make sure I got
Totally, I understand. The clerk will call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
No.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
No.
Bacon,
No.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
No.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Greenie,
No.
Jordan.
No.
7 yeas, 6 nays.
Okay, with that, you've passed the transfer and approved.
No.
No.
Yes.
You've passed the transfer.
And 7 votes.
No, you need 9 votes
No, you
to pass a
This is
transfer.
the second reading.
Doesn't matter. It's a transfer from one department to
Jesus.
another.
Madam
Okay.
Chair.
No, I mean, wait.
No, you're correct.
Yeah, you're correct.
You're correct.
No.
I'm saying that passed the transfer, and if it turns out differently, then fine. But in the past, I have waffled back and forth, and this is my ruling. So
Hold on, can we have the basis? Okay, then I'll make
because okay, I can. I'm willing to. This order was voted on at the last meeting.
Yeah.
There was a motion to reconsider. As usual,
Yeah.
it was reconsidered, sent back to committee. In committee, it was discussed and sent back here. That's the second reading.
Okay, so
So,
recognized?
yeah,
That's
Counselor,
not,
I'm sorry, was that Attorney Bissonnette? I'll call on you in a second, and then we'll.
Right. I'll be happy in a moment to turn it over to Attorney Bissonnette, but we don't, that's section 22 of the charter says 2 readings within 3 days. First thing I would point out is we just voted on both readings the same night. We sent the whole
We
item
did not
back.
vote on the first reading. We were voting on the second reading.
No. We just voted now on the first reading and the second reading. We just go, if you play it back, we just did 2 readings. But in this case, it wouldn't matter anyways, because section 49 of the charter says any monies appropriated for one purpose transferred to any other purpose during the year requires a 2/3 vote of the city council. You have more monies being moved from mayor's contract negotiations, mayor's pay, CAFO, all these other line items to these people's salary lines in all these different departments.
You don't have to yell.
Okay, I'm just
It's okay.
speaking up. Oh, I'm
I understand.
Sorry. I don't mean
I know. I get it. It's passion, but it's
Well, no, it's just this microphone must be strong.
okay.
These are all coming from one department to another. This is classic section 49, 2/3. This is transferring of appropriated monies. That's never controversial. So I don't know if Attorney Bissonnette wants to weigh in.
I would love to have Attorney Bissonnette weigh in because whatever I say is probably not going to fly. So, Attorney Bissonnette, please.
well, I think section 22 controls, and that would only require a majority.
What about section 49? These are appropriated monies from one
No, I
department to another.
disagree. I disagree on your characterization.
How
It
so?
wouldn't apply here.
Why wouldn't it apply? It's moving appropriated monies from one department to another, from one purpose to another. Why
No,
isn't that the
it's inapplicable to this situation. The charter doesn't overrule state law when it comes to municipal finance. I think we've gone through this before.
what?
If
And
I may,
I'll refer you to your auditor, Counselor Jordan. I think you should take this up with her DOR so you can get a clearer understanding of the rules.
if I may, I mean, this is when I actually, I am like, I have spent years watching us do it this way for years. Oh my God.
The motion passed, Madam President, so
I appeal the ruling of the chair. I'm going to appeal the ruling of the chair.
Of course, you are well within your right to do that.
Okay, and under, if I may be recognized to explain my justification for that.
Counselor Jordan.
Okay, 1, we voted on section 22. Well, just to close the loop on that, we just voted on 2 readings on the same night again. So just so we're all crystal clear, we just took 2 readings. put that aside because it's only interesting. It's not dispositive. These are all monies being moved from appropriated items, monies that were in the budget moved to another department. These lines, it's an interdepartmental transfer. That's like 101 here. What do you mean Section 49 doesn't apply? The law department, I would like to have them also give a legal opinion on this, because if this is already money in these lines. These monies were appropriated to the mayor's contract negotiations, CAFO, all these different lines, all appropriated. And now they're moving them to the pay lines of all these different people in all these different departments throughout the city. That's, what are they talking about? That's a no-brainer. That's Section 49 all day long.
Okay. Anyone else? Councillor Bacon.
Thank you. So 2 weeks ago, we took a similar vote. The numbers were the same, and the transfer was denied. We took the opposite vote tonight. The numbers are the same, and you're ruling the opposite way. So I'm not getting it because it was the same vote except the opposite way, and the numbers are the same. So if it failed 2 weeks ago, to me it failed tonight because it was the same vote. We started over from the beginning.
I'm literally just doing what I've watched Councillor McGivern do for years. I mean, and go ahead now, anyone else, discussion, you can challenge my vote. That's fine. I will sleep fine tonight and we'll figure it out if I was wrong. Okay? So on the motion to challenge.
I'll make a motion to reconsider and lay it on the table.
Motion's been made and seconded to reconsider and lay on the table. All those.
Yeah, and we should, just in support of that, we should do that, and let's have a conversation, get a legal opinion from the law department, because...
Do you want it from outside counsel?
Well, let's start with the law department.
Okay.
Just heard from the law department.
We just heard from the law
That's why I'm asking, because we did just hear from the law department, and it clearly is an issue, and
I'd like to hear it in a written opinion why Section 49 does not apply to appropriated funds.
Okay, all right, so motion's been made to reconsider. All those in favor, no more discussion. All those in favor?
No.
No.
I'm gonna have to see, but let's have the clerk call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
No.
McGrath Smith,
No.
Murphy Ramboletti,
I don't even know what I'm voting on. What am I voting on?
To reconsider, to table it.
Yes. You know,
Yeah.
I can hear you all. Oh, right, sorry, I don't want to have a meltdown. Go ahead, your turn.
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
No.
Jenny Rivera,
No.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
No.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
No.
Givner,
No.
Graney,
Yes, yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
7 yeas, 6 nays.
Okay, so it's reconsidered.
And tabled, I think we tabled.
Tabled,
Yeah,
Pepper.
okay.
Guys,
Pick it up in 2 weeks.
great.
Item number 33, Madam President.
I'm running the meeting, so when I'm ready to go to the next item, I'll let you all know. Got it? Thank you. I'm just trying to get my papers organized because...
No problem.
Item 35, Committee on Development and Government Relations, to whom was referred an order special permit application from Marcel Gavel for a vehicle exhaust repair and welding business at 54 Commercial Street. Counselor recommended that the special permit be granted with the following conditions: that the hours of operation will be Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that there be no overnight parking, that there will be no engine work on site, that there will be no vehicles stores inside, and that there will be no hazardous waste storage in site. Counselor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. So this is a special permit that came before DGR. It was recommended for approval to the City Council. I would like to note that this was an incomplete application technically for a special permit. So as wonderful as this candidate is, we are having a problem where we are accepting incomplete applications for special permits. And I think that's something that will need to be addressed at some point, not necessarily right now. The applicant was great. He explained his business well. It seems like he'll be going into a space where he's basically continuing the same type of work. So I don't think that it's an issue at all. But he will be doing welding, muffler work, custom fabrications. He agreed that he won't be doing actual engine work. He's not really a engine repair shop. And he would not need parking. All his vehicles would be stored inside. And he has no hazardous waste. So, yeah, it was recommended for approval.
Anyone else? Councilor McGrath-Smith.
Through the council president to the chair, and I'm sorry because I wasn't able to attend the meeting or watch it. What's the significance of it being important that there's no engine work on site? Why is that important in the special permit?
It's not important. I'm just recapping what the applicant said they were doing or not doing in the space. They can do engine repair if that's what they applied for. That's not what they applied for.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? So the motion is to approve the special permit. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, Councilor Rivera.
Sorry, I raised my hand, but you didn't see me.
Sorry.
No worries.
Go for it.
I think the only question I had is the application still incomplete.
Most of the special permit applications that come to the City Council are incomplete. The planning board, the planning department, City Council, the clerk's office all spend a lot of time on these applications, but for some reason, as a city, we don't have a good system in place to make sure that the applications are complete. So they come to us and we tend to approve special permit applications without the applicant actually doing most of the things required by like quality life standards through the planning department. So I'm just pointing it out. I don't think there's a whole lot we can do about this person. And I think it's a good example because he's not applying for like a brand new business. There's not like a lot of, new things that we should be necessarily paying attention to, but I'm just bringing it up because this is an ongoing issue. And, we waste like 10 to 12 hours per applicant by accepting incomplete applications, having them in front of DGR, bringing them to committee, reporting on them, and they're just not complete. I don't think we should ever see them to begin with, quite frankly. But this one's here. It's pushed through to this point, and as a body, it's our place to either approve or deny it. We don't have any. We use the planning board as a recommending authority, but none of us are specialized in like looking at engineering designs of a space or the layout or parking spaces, adequate facilities for waste removal, any of that. We just say yay or nay based on the personality of the people who come in front of us, basically. So I just wanted to point that out because I've been getting really frustrated with it because I feel like we get incomplete applications. I don't think it's the fault of the applicant. They have good intentions. They're bringing, business to the city. But I'm just pointing it out because it's something I really want us to pay a lot more attention to in the future.
Thank you. I think for me, just thank you for that background. I guess, so I guess I'm going to vote a no just for the sake of the incomplete application. I'm sorry for whoever the person is. It's just like, I think maybe we should go through the process and figure out moving forward, like complete your application before you turn it in, unless there are certain details that you need from the city to fill out with regards to that. Just because if we continue to do that, then it becomes what you're saying. It continues that.
This isn't the first.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But eventually,
I mean, I definitely worry that at some point it's going to be a real problem where like the city gets sued or, you know, something happens due to like us neglecting to adhere to recommendations from our planning department.
Thank you.
But yeah, the recommendation is for approval.
Councillor Bacon and then Councillor Graney.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to note that this was because of a change in ownership, not a change of use. So it doesn't seem fair to penalize the new owner for the same use. Thank you.
Agreed.
Councillor Graney.
Yeah, could we just request the protocol from the planning department? What is the protocol? And
It's
get it
in
in
our
writing.
packets for each meeting.
It's okay. Yeah. Well, I there's some things that we could probably do internally, and I can reach out to folks on the city level to figure out how to better improve the process. I was the chair of DGR, and this was an issue then, so we can address it. So thank you. Anyone else? Great. On the motion to approve, if you vote yes, you're voting to approve the special permit with these conditions, and the clerk will call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
no.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
12 yeas, 1 nay.
Thank you. With that, you've passed it. 36 is a special permit application of Daniel Laflamme, Daniel's Truck Center, to operate a light truck repairing and detailing center at 41 Temple Street. Recommended that the special permit be granted with the following conditions: that the hours of operation Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., that the lighting cannot be detrimental to the neighborhood, and that the petitioner will address all open questions on the planning department letter dated December 10th, 2024. Councillor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. So the special permit application from Daniel Laflamme is to add to his business. He's been operating in that neighborhood for quite some time. There was a public hearing, and that was closed on 12/10 and sent to City Council for a vote, but then it was actually sent back to the committee on 12/10. And it was sent back to committee because of the planning recommendations that hadn't been fulfilled. So this is, once again, an incomplete application that came in front of DGR. Again, I don't think this is the fault of the applicant. He is functioning in a space that he's already been doing business in. You know, I don't think that this is a big problem for the city, but I am, you know, making an effort to point out a little that I think all of this is a horrible waste of time for various departments, including the city council. Complete applications should come to us so that we can make decisions based on reality and not how we feel about someone operating in a space. So this was referred back for approval, although the applicant didn't provide additional information. He had been in touch with the planning department, and he was under the impression that anything that he needed to be done was done. So I think that's really great, and we did recommend it for approval to City Council.
Anyone else? Do you have your hand up, Councilor Rivera? It looks like you're about to put your hand up, but I'm not a mind reader, so you might just have to put your hand up. Okay.
Trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
No, it's fine. It's
Nah,
everything's
nah,
great. I love it here.
so,
Councilor Rivera.
Again, We get paid the big bucks for this, man.
Yep.
So I guess I'll reiterate what I said the last time, not take up too much time. I'm going to vote no with regards to the incomplete application. This is also, I think, if I'm correct, this is also might be the same spot that was kind of operating for a long time without an actual license, like to operate correctly at that space. Ironically, we come back and we have another situation. But so for me, it's, yeah, until the application is complete and they get the recommendations and they do things in a way that makes sense for good government and efficient government, then I'm going to vote no moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Counselor. Counselor Graney,
Question through the chair to.
can you just speak into the microphone, please?
Counselor, through the chair to Counselor Rivera.
Sure.
Do you say this person was operating without a permit to begin with?
This was before this. So before this was probably about my beginning of my first term. They came forward to get the actual permit for the license for the business they've been operating for like the past 10 years, because they maybe 7 to 10, because they didn't really have the actual permission to be operating within the zone that they were in. Then we finally gave them the special permit to allow them to operate as they've been operating for whatever time that they were.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, if I may.
Counselor Givner.
And I just wanted to add to that. So there was some discussion at the time that this business was sort of grandfathered in because it was operating the same type of business that had already been there. So again, I don't think this is the fault of the applicant. I think we as a city need to do better. If we want to be business friendly, we have to treat people who want to do business here like grown-ups and help them complete an application for a permit.
Anyone else? Okay, so the clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you're voting to approve the special permit application for 41 Temple Street.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Rumboletti,
No.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
No.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
She said yes.
She said yes. Sorry, she was out.
Givner,
Yes.
Yes.
Graney, Jordan,
Yes.
11 yeas, 2 nays.
With that, you've passed it. Thank you. 37.
Motion to suspend rules and take up 37 and 38 if the chair wishes.
Cool with that? Motion's been made and seconded to take items 37 and 38 up as a package.
What do they have to do with each other?
Complied with.
They don't have to, they're just
Oh,
both
okay.
complied with.
Complied with, that's all.
Sure.
So 37, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, 37 is that the DGR committee invite District 8 Governor's Counselor to a future DGR meeting. And 38 is in order that OPED please provide an update on the former Kmart Plaza. Both are recommended that the order has been complied with. Counselor Givner?
Thank you, Madam President. So we had District 8 Governor's Counselor Tara Jacobson, and that was Counselor Bartley's invite and idea. I thought it was a really nice discussion. She represents 102 cities and towns in Western Mass to Worcester, and her position is in a constitutional office in the executive branch. So they confirm judges, clerk magistrates, parole board members, advisory board of pardons. And she mentioned that in Healy's first term, they had confirmed 50 new judges, but there's still 100 openings in Berkshire and Hampden counties. So a lot of her discussion, a lot of what she shared talked about how hard it is for them to fill positions in Western Mass, or more importantly, outside of Eastern Mass. But she's working on judicial postings, and working with the Bar Association to help people understand how to become judges. She's a big advocate for encouraging Western Mass representation. And yeah, I thought this was really informative. And if anyone is interested in what, what the Governor's Council does and, how we're represented, I would urge them to rewatch the clips. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so the motions that the orders have been complied with, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so 39 is the Committee on Development Government Relations referred a resolution that the Holyoke City Council, which represents the greatest number of Puerto Ricans per capita than any other community in the country outside the island, votes to condemn the floating island of garbage statement made at a political rally of a candidate seeking to represent every American, including those who live in and come from Puerto Rico. This statement was insulting, ignorant, and dismissive of the culture and contributions of Puerto Ricans. Recommended that the resolution be adopted. Councilor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. So this was a resolution proposed by Councilor Anderson Burgos, and I thought it was very heartfelt and very important to the times. We did read it into the record during the committee, and I thought it was really great. It was approved unanimously by the DGR committee. Councilor Anderson Burgos, would you like to speak on this?
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
It's okay. It's just me. Councilor Anderson Burgos.
Let me ask the body, would it bother anyone if I read the resolution into record, or is it?
Go for it.
I just not
Make a
sure.
motion that you read it.
Okay. And I believe Councilor Ocasio had asked to be
That's
added.
fine.
Whereas the Holyoke City Council
It is
represents...
in your packet, by the way, everyone.
Huh?
It's in your packet, just reminding everyone.
I couldn't find it, sorry.
That's okay.
Whereas the Holyoke City Council represents the community with the greatest number of Puerto Ricans per capita of any community outside Puerto Rico. And whereas the rally was held and hosted by a candidate seeking to represent every single American, including those who live in and come from Puerto Rico. And whereas the Holyoke City Council should be committed to protecting this community's residents from racist sentiments, and acts targeting residents based on their identities. And whereas there should be no place in civil discourse for making jokes that degrade people for who they are or where they come from. And whereas American citizens who live on the island of Puerto Rico and elsewhere around the country have made incredible contributions to their communities and country for generations, including honorable service in the armed forces. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of Holyoke, Massachusetts condemns the statement made by Tony Hinchcliffe at a Trump political rally held on October 27th, 2024 at Madison Square Garden as an offensive and malicious disrespect of our Puerto Rican neighbors, friends, community members, fellow citizens, and most importantly, fellow humans. And be it further resolved that we are committed to holding our state and federal leaders accountable to the values and commitments expressed in this resolution.
Thank you. Councilor Devine.
Yes, thank you, Juan, for bringing that forward, and I think I had signed on to that as well. I think I remember seeing that, and I really thought it was despicable. I don't care if it was a comedian or not, but many of us, or our parents, maybe I should say, many, many years ago, probably turn of the century, the other century, no Irish need apply. So this has got to stop, and I would like us as a city council to do a roll call vote and that we vote unanimous, just like we did in committee.
Second.
Okay, so that was, we'll do a roll call vote, that's fine. Anyone else? Okay, so the motion is to adopt the resolution. If you vote yes, you are voting in favor of adopting the previously read resolution. The clerk will call the roll.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Oh, he said yes. No.
See,
Bacon,
Yes. God bless
Anderson
America.
Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Yes.
Graney,
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Unanimous vote.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Item 39, nope, item 40 is Development Government Relations Committee resolution in support of eviction ceiling to promote housing opportunity and mobility. Recommended that the order has been complied with. Councillor Givner.
Thank you, Madam President. Basically, we didn't have much discussion at all about this. There was some information shared with us about an eviction ceiling law that will go into effect. That was the language of which was released in August, I believe. So that was part of the packet for DGR. I thought it might be nice to have a discussion about this when we could have other people involved in it who understand this a little better and can actually discuss it. The will of the committee was to mark it as complied with and get rid of it. So that's what we're doing.
Okay. Interesting approach. Anyone else? Okay, so that the order has been complied with. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, motions, orders, and resolutions. It is 9:35. You guys got this.
Suspend the rules to adopt 41 and 42 and take them
Second.
up as a package.
Motion to suspend the rules and take up 41 and 42 together as a package to take final action this evening.
Pass the first reading.
Thank you.
Pass the first reading. I'll just read them into the record. 41 is a transfer request for $29,619.44 from lieutenants, sergeants, and patrolmen to injured on duty. And 42 is a transfer request of $32,071.58 from lieutenants, sergeants, and patrolmen to injured on duty. My notes here say that both of these orders represent 13 officers.
That's correct.
Okay. Anything?
Nope.
So the motion was to pass the first reading. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to pass second reading.
Motion to pass the second reading. The clerk will call the roll. If you vote yes, you are voting to approve these two transfers.
McGrath Smith,
Yes.
Murphy Ramboletti,
Yes.
Ocasio,
Yes.
Israel Rivera,
Yes.
Jenny Rivera,
Yes.
Sullivan,
yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
Anderson Burgos,
Yes.
Bartley,
Yes.
Devine,
Yes.
Givner,
Sorry, she's out of the room.
okay, Graney,
Yes.
Jordan,
Yes.
unanimous vote, 12 votes.
That you've passed it. Item 43, do you want to take this as a
Send it to
Package?
finance.
Do you want to take this as a package with 152, 53?
Sure.
Sure.
I'll go into finance.
Sure.
So motion to suspend the rules and take items 51, 52, 53 together as a package. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 43 is a transfer of $350,000 from patrolmen, sergeants, and dispatch to overtime. 51 is a transfer request of $145. And 52 is a grant to accept for $9,500 with a 50% in-kind match for emergency management. And 53 is a transfer request of $293,439.63 from general and capital stabilization to highway capital overlay. All of these sent to finance.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. 44 is filed by myself, ordered that the city council issue a proclamation in recommendation or in recognition of Girl Day on February 20th to present to Girls Inc. of the Valley. When I get more information, I'll invite you all. That would just be,
You want to receive and adopt?
yes, please.
Motion to receive and adopt?
Second.
Motion to receive and adopt under discussion.
Can I be
Councilor
added
Rivera.
on?
Yeah,
Awesome.
sure.
Thank you.
We can do that. Okay, motions to receive and adopt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 45 is filed by Councilor Jenny Rivera. As per the property manager's request from Lyman Terrace Apartments, we are requesting 3 parking spots for the staff in front of 17 Hamden Street, along with signs indicating parking for Lyman Terrace staff. To ordinance? Or isn't that?
I mean, yeah, but like so we can't kind of designate parking to certain.
Well, we can
But yeah,
discuss
you can
that
send it to
in
me.
ordinance.
That's fine. You can send it.
Sounds good
I'll
to
waste.
me.
I'll waste my time. Yeah.
Yeah, let's not. Okay. So to ordinance, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 46 is filed by Councilor Bacon. Order at the,
Madam President?
yes.
Can we suspend rules and take 46, 47, and 48 and send them all to Public Safety, Sergeant Zerhide, and the Traffic Enforcement Grant Committee? please?
Sure. Motion's been made to suspend the rules, take items 46, 47, and 48 together as a package to refer to, public
Safety.
safety,
Sergeant Zerhide.
Sergeant Zerhide, and
Traffic Enforcement.
the Traffic Enforcement Grant Committee. So 46 is at the 91 dedicated exit lane to the mall. Consider the installation of flexible lane delineators. 47 is that the ordered that the police department address the illegal drag racing on Balboa Road and coordinate with West Springfield Police. And 48 is ordered that the police department provide enforcement activities by Holyoke and or state police regarding truck traffic during restricted hours at night. So send to Public Safety, Sergeant Zerhide, and Traffic Enforcement Grant Committee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. 49 was filed by Councilor Bacon. Ordered request to prioritize Homestead Avenue from Westfield Road to Lower Westfield Road be repaved due to high truck traffic volume.
A motion to send to Public Safety and DPW, please?
Motion to send to Public Safety and DPW. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Item 50, filed by Councilors Bacon and Jourdain, order that the law department come into compliance with Ordinance 2-156, and the auditor confirms that the rates of pay are in compliance with the ordinance in Schedule A.
Receive, adopt, refer to the auditor and law department.
Receive, adopt, refer to the law department and the auditor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we did 51, 52, 53. 54 is filed by Councilors Graney and Ocasio. Order that flashing stop signs be placed at the intersection of Jackson and Commercial Street.
Ordinance, I believe.
I'll send that to ordinance.
This is the intersection where 91,
I mean-
391 comes off.
Sure.
If I may,
Councilor Rivera?
you can if you want, but I think that might be just a communication to DPW because there's already a sign there. It's already a stop sign. It's not like we're adding a stop sign in a place where there isn't.
I realize that, but there's been several traffic accidents there in the past.
I realize that as well, but the only thing that's going to end up happening is a recommendation to DPW. for
DPW,
ordinance.
that's fine.
You know what I'm saying? I could take it up, but it's going to end up being a recommendation.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
DPW 's fine.
so receive and send to DPW?
See and adopt.
And with a copy to ordinance. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Is there a 56? We already did 56?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, that would be a late file. Hold on.
That was the, no, there's a handicap.
Yours was 57.
There's a handicapped entrance one.
One more. So hold on. 56 was late filed by Councilor Greeny. Ordered that
Good
the
one.
handicap entrance to City Hall be made completely serviceable for those people who need to use it. Receive and send to DPW.
Sure.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.